Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, your home for all content Marvel Mystic Mayhem. Today's video is going to be discussing the next theme. They released this image here today telling us the next theme is going to be about the Asgardians, that we're going to get a new character, Loki. We're going to do a little bit of speculation, and then I'm going to show you some stuff I found from data mining. So if you're ready for that, stick around. Let's just hop right into it. The next theme, starting on July 31st, is going to be about Asgard. With that comes a new Nightfall boss, Surtur, who looks honestly pretty sick. The art style for this game is really incredible. I really like the art style for this game. They're doing something unique and different, and it just looks good. We're getting a new character, Loki. So my guess is that after Fantastic Four is over, so after Sue and Mr. Fantastic's banners are done in about 2 weeks now, we will have a banner for Loki. There's a little bit of speculation there that we can do. Are they going to run a second banner? Are they going to run just one banner? The dev blog mentioned that they'll probably do 2 to 3 characters per themed event, and the themes last 6 weeks, so 2 to 3 makes sense if you're going to run them for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But are they going to run a second banner? The idea there is maybe they will run Thor simultaneously, and I think that that's a decent guess because they want to get Thor's character-specific highlight out there. So this is an image from one of the tests. Basically, this is no longer, you can't view this in the game anymore. They took it out. But this is what Thor's character-specific highlight looked like. So this is subject, this is not necessarily what it's going to be, could be changed, but this gives us an idea of maybe what his highlight would look like, because it's based on what it was previously in the game. So it's basically increase attack speed by 45%. I'll note that this is at Awakened Stage 5 here, so fully upgraded. But 45% increase in attack speed is crazy, especially when you pair it with some of the unique artifacts and, the backpack, the jetpack as well. When the wearer deals basic attack damage to debuffed enemies, his specialty, their attack increases by 24%. So an additional 24% whenever he's hitting people who have electrified, which is basically going to be a lot of the time. And then if it's equipped by Thor, crit rate increases by 15%. So then all of your basic attacks have the opportunity to then crit. Basically, you don't have to split in your artifacts. You can just focus on attack speed, maybe a little bit of crit and crit damage. But this gives you basically everything you need on Thor. This is an insane highlight. And, I have Thor on my account, and I would probably strongly consider pulling up to 80 just to get this particular highlight because of how insane it is. I have to think a little bit about that because it's not cheap. But this is very, very good. Okay. But that kind of brings me back to this. 2 to 3 other characters. So I was discussing with some people in my community, and we were thinking about what are characters that we would like to see that fit this theme of Asgard. And the 2 that I thought of right off the bat would be Odin and Hela, especially with the boss Surtur. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. But also, in particular, I would like to see what Hela and Odin look like in this MMM art style. I think they would look really, really good. Let me know what Asgardian characters you would like to see come to the game, whether it's a favorite character of yours, something you just want to see included in this particular setting or art style or whatnot. Hela and Odin were the 2 ones that I thought I would like to see. And then this is a transition here. I started looking into some of the game files, and I found this. And this is, the file was called Winner Takes All, so it maybe looks like a highlight of some kind or the artwork for a highlight. And to me, that kind of looks like Hela. It could be something else. I suppose maybe it is, I don't know. It doesn't really look like it could be like a modified version of Angela. Maybe. But to me, this kind of looks like Hela. And so that's exciting. I think this looks pretty great, and that would be an indication to me that she could be one of the characters that we get, which is pretty awesome. Okay, And then let's transition into, let me do a quick spoiler alert. If you don't want to be spoiled in terms of what the kit stuff might look like, in terms of some story stuff or anything Loki related, then I would close this video now. But I can't imagine there are many people like that. So instead, let's talk about some other things I found. So these are some cards that I found in the game files related to Loki. And you can see this first one here basically has some apparitions, some summons that basically look like him. I think that's a sort of a standard theme that people expect from a Loki character, is that he's got some sort of magic, some sort of trickery up his sleeves, in this case with clones here. But also what I find maybe a little bit more interesting is this massive giant that we see in some of these other character card things here. I will note, I could not tell you whether this is something to do with a highlight, whether this is just a sort of a panel from a story mode, or whether these are the character cards for the skills. I have no idea either way. I'm just showing you what I have based on the current game files. And so to me, it looks like this could definitely be something that, story related. But I kind of hope that one of the things we end up getting is this sort of ice giant looking thing. And that's part of the skills that he has. I will show you one last thing here before we go. And that is basically a mesh of one of his skills here. And it was called basically like an ice shard type thing. And so my guess is that he has some sort of ice abilities that go along with his skills. I hope it's related to something like this, but it also maybe makes sense if we come back here and we go to Surtur. When I think about Surtur, I think about, lots of fire and flame and whatnot. And so maybe Loki will end up being sort of a natural counter to that with some sort of ice-based skills. That makes sense to me. They're going to release a new Nightfall boss. They're going to have a character that's very good at that particular Nightfall boss. I think that was one of the ways that they plan on continuing to incentivize monetization in the game. But let me know what you think down in the comments below about who you would like to see. But also, do you think that his skills are going to be something related to this ice giant looking figure with the Loki horns on there? Or do you think that'll just be something part of the story? Let me know what you think. But that's all from me for this video. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.